Hello, I am Dr. Kateřina Průšová, and most of you know me as either as my former clients or my former students at the Charles University in Prague. And in this current semester, I am not teaching because most of the Americans are not allowed to come to Europe, and the teaching has been suspended for a while. I believe that there have been many changes in your lives also. I would like to share with you my own way in which I dealt with this new and unexpected situation. And I have something that I consider quite important to share. So I'll be happy also to be in touch very much, and I'll be happy to hear from you and to hear your stories. So what are we going to talk about in this presentation are mostly fatty acids and the metabolism of fats, because there is actually a surprising connection between the metabolism of lipids or fats and deadly diseases and our immunity. So we are going to learn in this presentation what is the importance of the cell membrane, how does it recharge our batteries, why, in spite of the fact that we know about nutrition and health more information than ever before, why we are still sick, why we are still afflicted by civilization diseases, why we are so vulnerable. What is the relationship between omega-6 fatty acids and omega-3? Which ones are starting inflammation? Why is inflammation healthy? And which ones are stopping inflammation? Why do we need both? Why do we need them in balance? How does market economy influence what we eat and the state of our health also? What is the belly brain? How does the belly brain affect our behavior, and what its relationship with our brain that is formed by fats, by lipids mostly? So you can also find out your own specific situation. You can get tested. I will tell you how, and I am going to share with you my own specific solution to this situation. Let's get through this. This is Dr. Johanna Budvig, an incredible visionary. She lived almost entire 20th century. She died at the beginning of the 21st century at the age almost 100 years. She was almost 100 years old. And she basically said that there were many useful publications written on healthy lifestyle. Most of them say that we shall exercise and eat healthy. But if one does not understand the question of lipids or fats, it gets all pretty useless. So it really matters what type of fats do we consume. If we consume harmful fats, it affects all areas of our lives, including spiritual and mental activities. This is a picture of a cell, because fats act on the cell level. The cell membrane is actually formed by fats and proteins, and their interaction, this electric dipolarity, charges our batteries. Many people say that we are formed by 80% water. It's not completely correct. We are actually it's actually an electrolytic solution. So it is we are batteries. Our bodies are batteries, and the charge is produced by interaction between proteins and lipids in the cell membrane, and the batteries do need to be charged. Here you can see what's the difference between healthy cell and unhealthy cell. The healthy cell is has a membrane that's soft and permeable, because the cell membrane doesn't need to know what it is supposed to let in and what is it supposed to let out. It needs to be smart and intelligent. An unhealthy cell fed by bad fats, bad lipids, doesn't let the nutrients in and doesn't let the waste out completely. So we need to check this. Dr. Bruce Lipton worked in the cell biology his entire life. He researched the influence of the principles of quantum physics on the way in which the cells receive information. He also figured out that our genes can be influenced by our setting, that we can activate certain genes and another genes will remain passive. And so we are in constant transformation. And all this is possible only if the cell membrane is soft and permeable. Dr. Paul Clayton from the Royal Society of Medicine and Institute for Nutrition, Brain Activity and Behavior by the Oxford University researches pharmacological effect of food. Can we get healed by food instead of being healed by drugs? I am convinced that yes, that this is crucial, that we don't need to feed the pharmaceutical industry. We can instead change our eating behavior. Dr. Clayton asked this situation, we know about, asked this question, we know about health and nutrition more than ever before, so why are we still sick? So this is the key, the metabolism of omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids. We need both. The thing is that in our current nutrition, we have much more of omega-6 fatty acids and we have still less and less of omega-3. This is quite a well-known fact. Omega-6 are important. Omega-6 actually start the inflammation in the body and the body can heal, but then we need omega-3 in our bodies to stop the inflammation. So what's the problem is that they are often in a quite pathological disbalance, that we have way too many omega-6 that start the inflammation that is never stopped by omega-3 because we simply don't have them. You can see what omega-6 are responsible for. For example, they increase the number of depressions and of Alzheimer's disease. They increase the level of insulin, whereas omega-3 decrease pain, they support immunity, they support brain functions, and are anti-inflammatory. They stop the inflammation. This is the result of our current situation, this of the world of globalization. You can see a diagram that my alternative culture students know well, where you can see that there are only few companies that own many, many brands. So we have an illusion of choice. However, it's still the same company that is producing these. So as a result of industrialization in the food industry, we are faced with pathological proportion of omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids. Also, with the pathological lack of polyphenols that are to be found, for example, in olive oil. we do not have enough of prebiotics to feed our belly brain. We do not have beta glucans most often in our food that are to be found, for example, in the skin of apples or of fruits, if they are grown naturally. If they are cured with chemistry, it's no longer there. We have way too much of AGE and LAE that support inflammation, and we are that way out of energy. Here you can see a diagram that shows the symptoms of hidden chronic inflammation, because if we have too much of omega-6 and we have very, very little of omega-3, there are no omega-3 to stop the inflammation, and the inflammation remains in the body. So as a result, we have skin problems, we have immunity dysfunctions, cell disorders, mood disorders, we have articulation diseases, metabolic disorders. Another symptom of hidden chronic inflammation are brain dysfunctions or heart diseases. So it's still the same inflammation that travels around the body and shows. And it can be cured with putting the omega-6 and omega-3 to balance. This is a picture of our belly brain. Our intestines are actually inhabited by little bodies, and they weigh about 3.3 pounds. They contain about 20 million of genes, which is much more than the human genome. The human genome contains only 20,000 genes, so it's pretty clear what this size for us. In fact, this is the picture of our brain, and that has also an important role. We're the seat of our rationality, and our brain is formed from 30% by fats, by lipids. If we don't have the correct lipids in our brain, an inflammation can start, and we might not even know it for a very long time because the brain inflammation doesn't hurt. This is a picture of normal population of working people in the 1930s. And this is a well-known picture that you know from your everyday reality. These people, it's not that these people eat way too much. This is a result of malnutrition. They are eating empty matter without nutrients. Dr. Budwig said that all the metabolism of fats influence all vital functions, including sexuality and fertility. So to eat correct lipids is essential for our correct body functions. If we have the good fats, if we receive them, we feel light and we feel happy. We have a much greater sense of happiness. You can get tested. You can find out what's your proportion. Dr. Budwig started with this method in the early 1950s, and she was capable to analyze the exact composition of fatty acids from a milligram of blood with a very high precision. It's called paper chromatography. And today there is a Norwegian laboratory that does these dry blood drop tests. They measure 11 fatty acids. They show you your balance between omega-6 and omega-3, your cell membrane permeability, your mental power, and so forth. This company tested like about 500,000 of people already by now. And the most common result is, in the Czech Republic, is 25 to 1, 25 omega-6 to 1 omega-3. In general, people are on the level 15 to 1. I was on the level 17 to 1 a year ago. And where you need to be is at 3 to 1. 3 to 1, you are healthy and you can deal with inflammations easily. So you might be anywhere in between. And it's quite important to know, because normally doctors are not measuring it. You cannot get to the doctor and tell him measure omega-6 and omega-3. In most of the cases, they don't do it automatically. So you can get tested with this paper test and find out your own level. Here I am sharing the story of a kid that was diagnosed with ADHD and mild cerebral palsy and mild mental retardation at the age of 5. And the doctor said that he will simply stop developing. In 2018, he would hardly put together 2 words. He couldn't almost not speak at the age of 5. He had problems with coordination, super weak immunity. He couldn't sleep at night, and he would get angry and anxious very, very easily. So his father found out this company, and they measured him. The result was 39 to 1. After 5 months, they measured him again after a cure with balance oil. That's basically a supplement with omega-3 fatty acids combined with polyphenols. And his balance got to 4.9, which is quite an incredible result. What changed in his life was quite unbelievable. He started to speak, and he started to run without falling. He had no longer problems with sleep, because he also took the saffron product. Saffron is amazing for sleeping and for good mood. And he started to be able to concentrate on games, and he stopped being so easily irritable. So his mental age was almost 5 instead of 3, as the doctor said. And he could also ski. Later in March 2019, the parents added prebiotics after a consultation with Dr. Clayton. Prebiotics are food for the inhabitants of our intestines. And it's not that you need to put the bacteria in, like the lactobacilli, you need to feed them. It's much more important than putting the bacteria. They are already present, but unless you feed them, they will never become active. So he started to feed his little buddies in his belly brain. And for 15 days, his parents thought like this was something wrong, because he started to get better again. But after 15 days came an incredible turn, and he started to speak in abundance, and he started to talk to children, and he was very, like, he would contact kids very easily. He changed completely. Since September of the past year, a miracle happened really for his parents. He started to attend a regular school. Today he can ride a bike, he can swim, and his father was so proud that that his son was able to sign his name before he got to the first class, before he started attending school. This is a test of Vite's grandfather. His grandfather said, like, this cannot work, but I am going to take it just to prove that this doesn't work. So he was pretty old, 75, and he said, like, it's not gonna help. And his first tests showed your result is 27 omega-6 to 1 omega-3. So that's pretty bad. After 4 months, his test moved to 3 to 1, 3.4 to 1, which is almost the ideal. And after 9 months, he got tested at the doctor, and the doctor couldn't believe her eyes, and she said, "Wow, your results correspond to a healthy 50-year-old man. Originally, he had the diabetes starting." She said, it's no more case of diabetes. We cannot no longer talk about it. And he stopped needing his coagulants for the blood. He started to walk normally in spite of the initial pains, and his health state moved quite incredibly. This is the test of Vite's grandmother that was 66 years old, and her first test showed the balance 28 to 1. Her second test was 2.6 to 1. She had incredibly painful headaches and varicose veins, and her health state shifted enormously. She still has headaches, but it doesn't put her completely out of function as initially, and the veins improved incredibly. This is my own test. This is my latest picture from my recent holiday in Italy. And my first test a year ago was 17 to 1. I was surprised because I thought that I was eating quite healthy, but I didn't really focus on the metabolism of fats. So my second test a year later was already 3.8 to 1. And also my health state improved incredibly. My life changed completely. And after a very long time that I wished a baby, I got pregnant. This is the product that made this possible. It's a balance oil, and balance oil is made out of cured fish oil. But in order to make the fish oil to be acceptable for our body and to go directly to the cells, you need to put there something that is in nature, and that some things are polyphenols. Polyphenols are taken out of olives that are not completely mature to have the higher amounts of polyphenols. And most of the products that contain omega-3 are actually conserved by vitamin E. This protects the oil in the capsules, but once it gets to the digestive tract, it oxidates, so it never gets to the cells. And only when combined with polyphenols, the fish oil can get to the cell membrane where it needs to be. It is also incredibly important to know how is the fish oil taken out of the fish, because it can be done either naturally or it can be done chemically. The natural way is called are called triglycerides, and it's more lengthy. The more current way that's used by most of the companies that produce omega-3 is called esterification. That means that the glycerol is being replaced by artificial esters. The result is that the omega-3 gets really concentrated, which looks great. The problem is that our body cannot really deal with the artificial esters, and it's more it's more difficult for our body to absorb it. So instead of helping our body by eating products made in a chemical way, we are actually giving it hard times. So I am working with this Swedish company that offers a complete solution for her health state. The fish oil combined with polyphenols, the prebiotics to feed our belly, brain, and they produce the vitamins that are called Extend, that contain fucoidans from the sea algae that are important to deal with inflammation in our mouth. And that's important because the mouth is very close to the brain, and also close to our heart, and it influences our digestion. And also the fucoidans deal with the fat in our belly, in the abdominal fat, which is very often a storage of toxins. So here is some information about the prebiotics. It regulates the cholesterol level, reduces blood sugar, which was absolutely great for me. I had starting diabetes before also. It contains beta-glucans that are important for our immunity. Here you can see what is in the Extend vitamins. Another product is Viva that I will come to very much because it helps with the stress. If one cannot sleep, this is a great natural help. You can never overdose it because it's saffron. It has very fast effect. And I think that the product that's called Protect helped me so much, and it's incredibly important. It boosts immunity. It's like a natural antibiotic. It contains a huge concentration of beta-glucans and vitamin D. So anytime when I started to feel sick in these times, I took this, and I was cured in 1 or 2 days maximum. So I highly recommend this. You might ask you like, okay, so this is Swedish, it might be super expensive. It's, in my opinion, not expensive at all, which can be quite surprising how affordable it is. The balance oil is of a price of a cup of coffee per day. One bottle that's good for a month costs 30 euros, so it's €1 per day. Here you can see that to get this great price, you sign in to a program for half a year, and at the beginning you can do the test, and after half a year you can see the results. You can make the second test and see where you moved. If you think that you are super healthy and you make the test and you think and you sign in this program, the company refunds you completely if your result is 3-1, but almost no one is 3-1. We are in most of the cases we have quite pathological balance of omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids. And this balance is absolutely decisive for our health state. How to get it? You can either scan this code, or you can go on the link that you can see on the screen, t.ly/CNOE, or you can contact me on my email address or directly on my cell phone. The Swedish company is partnering also with famous Czech sportsmen, because most of the people that buy it are healthy people that want to remain healthy, even though it's helping so much elderly people, disabled children, and so forth. So you can see pictures of Lukáš Osladil, a famous Czech bodybuilder. Zinzino is partnering with a professional Czech ice hockey team in Škoda Pilzen. So feel free to contact me, and please be in touch